My dear friend, today, I want to invite you to sit down with me like two old friends meeting again after a long journey. There's no rush at all. Imagine we're at a small coffee shop on the corner. The afternoon outside is just cool enough, and we have all the time in the world to talk about the things that truly matter. The things that when we've lived more than half of our lives we finally realize are worth more than we once thought. Have you ever noticed that being 40, 50, or 60 doesn't feel the same as those eager years in your 20s? When we were young, we thought life was a straight line. We believed that if we worked hard enough, pushed long enough, we'd get exactly where we wanted. But as we live longer, we see that path is never straight. It bends, it twists, it surprises us with dead ends. And those very turns, those unexpected detours, are what bring us true maturity. I used to believe success meant having an impressive career, a big house, a luxury car. But as I've grown older, I've realized success is not only about what we own, but about how we live, how we feel each moment, and how we overcome life's storms. A close friend of mine, now 64, once told me I've been running all my life, and only when I retired did I realize I never truly enjoyed a quiet morning. That confession stayed with me. How many times do we chase something far away, forgetting that happiness often hides in the smallest things right in front of us? A warm cup of tea, a loved one's smile, a quiet moment of simply being. Have you ever felt like that? That life is slipping by too fast, and you're afraid you haven't lived it fully enough? Many people in middle age carry that question inside. Is it too late for me to change? And let me tell you this, it is never too late. Truly, it never is. Science shows us that the human brain can continue to learn and change even in our 70s or 80s. I once worked with a woman who started painting at 65. At first, she was insecure, thinking art belonged to the young. But only a few years later, she held her first art exhibition. When I asked how she felt, she smiled and said, "I've never felt more alive than I do now." And that is exactly what I want to share with you today. We're not here for a lecture, nor for dry theories. I want you to think of this as a heartfelt conversation. Together, we'll pause at life's important turns, reflect on them, and then continue forward with fresh eyes. You see, some principles of living never grow old. What makes them powerful is not just knowing them, but making them your own. Knowledge is everywhere in books, online, in workshops. But wisdom only comes when you've truly lived, truly experienced. And in middle age, that wisdom is no longer just for you. It's something you can pass on to your children, to your community, to those around you. So let me ask you this. If today you were to write a letter to the next generation, what would you write? How would you want to be remembered? What lessons would you want to leave behind? These are not easy questions, but when you think about them, you begin to see our life's purpose is not in shiny achievements, but in the values we leave behind. And often, the biggest change begins with the smallest steps. One of my students told me it felt impossible to start over at 58. I told him, "You don't need to start everything over. Just start one small thing." So he tried. Every morning, he wrote down 3 things he was grateful for. At first, he thought it was childish. But after a few months, he told me, "I realize I've started seeing the world through different eyes." You see, change doesn't always mean revolution. Sometimes it's simply a shift in perspective. Another time, I met a man in his 70s who learned to swim after a lifetime of fearing water. When I asked why, he said, "I don't want to leave this world without ever knowing the feeling of floating." Simple words, but such a brave choice. And the most beautiful part. Now he swims 20 laps every morning, and he feels healthy, free, as if life had given him back a new beginning. My friend, when I talk about change, I don't only mean new skills or new habits. I mean the way we show up for ourselves and for others. Have you ever sat with someone who truly listened to you? No phone in their hand, no rush to reply, just fully present. How precious was that? And you too can give that gift to others anytime you choose. I believe what people remember most about us is not how much money we made or where we worked, but how we made them feel when they were with us. That is the power of presence, and age cannot take it away. In fact, age makes it even deeper. Throughout this journey, I'll invite you to pause and ask yourself questions. When was the last time you truly felt free? Who in your life brings out the best in you? Have you spent enough time with them? What do you need to let go of to walk more lightly through life? I don't expect you to have all the answers right away. I only hope you carry these questions with you like a small mirror you can look into whenever you need clarity about your path. And you know what? At 60, I still don't feel finished. I'm still learning, still exploring, still trying new things. Life is not a race to the finish line. It's a journey, and every day can be a fresh page. Whether you're 40, 50, or 70, you can still write your story in the way you want it to be told. If there's one thing I hope you take with you from today's talk, it's this. You don't have to become a perfect version of yourself. You only need to become the most authentic and resilient version of you. My dear friend, let's go a little deeper now. I want to share with you a few perspectives, not as a rigid checklist, but as little stories, small seeds you can plant in your own life. And who knows, from there, you might find a new path for your journey today. 1. The art of letting go. There's a quote I love. You can't start the next chapter of your life if you keep rereading the last one. I've met many people in their 50s and 60s who carry heavy regrets about the past. A job they lost, a relationship that ended, an opportunity that never came back. They torment themselves, if only I had chosen differently. But the truth is, if only never takes us back. It only traps us in a loop of guilt and sorrow. I remember an old friend, George. He was in business and lost everything at 55. For years, he locked himself inside his own shame. But one day, he decided to change. He sold his big house, moved to a small one by the beach, and began writing books about his life experiences. Now at 70, he's the author of 3 books that many people read. He once told me, if I hadn't let go back then, I'd still be sitting here cursing the past. Letting go does not mean forgetting. Letting go is about learning to accept. It's like dropping a stone into the water. You still know it exists, but you no longer have to carry it on your shoulders. Let me ask you, what stone are you carrying? A memory, a person, a mistake. If you could drop it today, how much lighter would you feel? 2. Gratitude. The key to late life happiness. We often think happiness comes from having more. But the truth is, happiness begins when we learn to appreciate what we already have. I once guided a group of retirees in keeping a gratitude journal. At first, many thought it was silly. But after a few weeks, they began to notice the difference. One woman wrote, "Today, I'm grateful I can still make myself a cup of coffee in the morning." Another man wrote, "I'm grateful my daughter called me today." Those little things, when written down, became a source of great energy. A Harvard study proved that people who practice gratitude daily tend to be more optimistic, sleep better, and feel less lonely. You see, the miracle doesn't lie in changing the world, but in changing the way we see it. I want you to try something simple tonight before bed. Write down 3 things you're grateful for. Do this for 30 days. And you'll begin to notice how your mind gently transforms. 3. Your body is the home of your spirit. A mistake many people make in midlife and older age is forgetting that physical health and mental health are deeply connected. I once met a man named Richard, now 62. He told me, I don't have the energy to change anymore. So I asked him if he exercised daily. He shook his head. I encouraged him to try walking for just 15 minutes each morning. Only 15 minutes. 6 months later, he came back and said, I feel like I've become 10 years younger. Neuroscience shows that exercise releases dopamine and endorphins, the chemicals of happiness. That means every step you walk, every breath you take deeply, every stretch of your body is a small dose of medicine for the spirit. And here's the beauty, your body doesn't need to be perfect for you to begin. You don't have to run a marathon. Just start small. Walk, breathe, stretch. Treat your body as the home of your soul, because when that home is strong, your spirit has a place to rest. 4. The power of human connection. There's a silent fear many older adults face: loneliness. I've worked with hundreds of people over 50, and what hurts them most is not illness, but the feeling of being left behind. But connection is something we can create. I remember a woman named Maria. After her husband passed away, she lived alone and slowly sank into depression. Then one day, she joined a local book club. From there, she found new friends, new conversations filled with laughter. When I met her again, she told me I'm no longer afraid of long days. I know I belong somewhere. You can start small, call an old friend, join a hobby group, or simply chat with your neighbor. These connections don't just fill the silence. They remind you that you still matter, that you are still contributing to life. Medical research even shows that people with strong social networks live longer and healthier. Loneliness, on the other hand, is as dangerous to health as smoking. 5. Meaning the most sustainable energy. Have you ever asked yourself, why am I still alive? It sounds pessimistic, but in truth, it's a vital question. Because when we know the why, we can find the how. I once spoke with a man in his 80s who volunteered every day at a hospital reading books to children. When I asked why, he said, I want them to know someone believes in them. That's meaning. It doesn't need to be grand. It just has to make you feel you're still giving something. Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist who survived the Nazi concentration camps, once wrote, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." That truth applies to us all at any age. Ask yourself, what is the meaning of my life today? It could be caring for a grandchild, writing down family memories, planting a garden, or simply being a friend who truly listens. When you have a reason to wake up in the morning, life shines brighter. 6. Learning to live slowly and be present. In today's world, we are constantly pushed to go faster, do more. But in midlife, I've realized the true value lies in learning to slow down. A friend of mine once said, I was so busy all my life, I never noticed the birds singing outside my window. Strange as it sounds, when he began to spend 10 minutes each morning just sitting quietly listening, he felt more peaceful than on any expensive trip. Living slowly doesn't mean being lazy. It means allowing yourself to be fully present in each moment. When you eat, just eat. When you talk, just talk. When you walk, just walk. This is a form of meditation in daily life, and you don't need complex techniques to begin. All you need is the courage to disconnect from the rush. 7. The joy of learning something new. Many people think learning is for the young. But the truth is, learning something new at 50, 60, or 70 not only keeps the brain flexible, it also brings tremendous joy. A woman I know began learning piano at 68. At first, she said her hands shook and her memory wasn't sharp anymore. But after just 1 year, she could play a few simple songs. She laughed and told me I never thought I could do this. That joy made her feel young again. Our brain has something called neuroplasticity, the ability to change and adapt throughout life. That means you can learn, train your mind, and open new doors at any age. What would you like to try? Painting a new language, or simply learning to use technology to connect with your grandchildren? Start now, because every new thing you learn is a gift to your soul. My dear friend, we've just walked through some important layers: learning to let go, practicing gratitude, caring for your body, building connections, finding meaning, slowing down, and continuing to learn. I don't expect you to apply them all at once. I only hope that after hearing these words, you pause and ask yourself, what matters most to me right now? Maybe you'll choose one small habit to begin. Maybe you'll call an old friend. Maybe you'll sit quietly and listen to your own heart. Whatever it is, it just needs to bring you one step closer to the life you want. And remember, it is never too late to change. As long as you are breathing, each day is a new chance to write another chapter of your life story. My dear friend, at this point, I believe we have walked together through quite a long journey. I have shared with you stories and lessons, some from my own life, some from hundreds of people I've accompanied over the years. But I want to make this very clear: what I shared today is not some magic formula or secret wand that will instantly change your life. No, they are simply seeds. And only you, not anyone else, are the one to plant them into the soil of your own life. I know that at 40, 50, or even 70, many of us feel like life has already been shaped, that the big opportunities have passed, that nothing new is left to begin. But I want to emphasize this: you are never done. As long as you still have breath, as long as your eyes can still look at the world, as long as your heart can still feel, then you still have the power to change. 1. The journey never truly ends. I am 60 years old, and I have never once felt that I have fully reached the finish line. On the contrary, life feels to me like a book with pages I can continue writing every single day. When I was younger, I thought success meant reaching some peak, having a career, money, or fame. But now, I see that true success is not a destination. It is the journey itself. Have you noticed? Each day that passes is a new opportunity to begin again. This very morning, when you woke up, you were given a priceless gift, a brand new day. And that alone is enough proof that you still have something meaningful left to live. 2. The beauty of imperfection. In our younger years, we often try to prove that we are strong, flawless, perfect. But at this age, I've realized that true beauty lies in the cracks, in the scars, in the marks left by life. I remember once being asked, "Do you wish you could be young again?" I smiled and said, "No, because if I were young again, I would lose all the lessons I had to pay dearly to learn. The wrinkles on your face, the scars on your body, even the wounds in your heart, they are all proof that you have lived, endured, and risen again. And that is what makes you resilient, deep, and beautiful in your very own way." 3. The power of presence. Do you remember the last time someone truly listened to you without interrupting, without judging, just simply being there with you? Presence is the greatest gift we can give each other. You don't need money or extraordinary talent to be remembered. You just need to be there fully, sincerely in that moment. Imagine this: you're sitting with your grandchild. Instead of staring at your phone, you look into their eyes and listen to every word they say. That memory will stay with them forever. That is the power of presence. 4. It's never too late to begin. Let me tell you another story. A woman I know started painting at the age of 70. Many people laughed, saying, "At this age, what's the point of learning to paint?" But she didn't care. She simply wanted to try. And you know what? Just a few years later, her paintings were displayed in a small local exhibition. She told me, "The happiest thing is not that my paintings were exhibited, but that each day I felt truly alive." You see, happiness doesn't lie in big outcomes. Happiness lies in daring to begin, no matter the age. 5. A few questions for you to carry with you. I don't want to end this sharing with only advice. Instead, I'd like to leave you with some questions, like small lanterns to light up your path. When was the last time you truly felt free? Who in your life makes you a better version of yourself? Have you given them enough of your time? What do you need to let go of in order to walk lighter? If today were your last day, how would you want to be remembered? Take these questions with you. Don't rush to answer them. Let them sit within you, and slowly they will help you see more clearly the path you want to walk. 6. A heartfelt message. I know life is not easy. Each of us carries burdens invisible to others. There are nights you toss and turn, alone, worries you cannot share. But please remember this: you are not alone. So many others out there are struggling too. And above all, you always have the chance to rewrite your story. Begin with something small. Maybe write down 3 things you're grateful for each day. Maybe take a 15-minute walk in the morning. Maybe call an old friend. Step by step, these small acts will add up to big change. Before we close, I invite you to do one thing. Write in the comments below one change you want to make, or one thing you want to begin today. Don't hesitate. When you write it down, you're not just reminding yourself, you might also inspire someone else who is watching this video. And if you feel that today's sharing touched you, please hit the subscribe button. Every week I'll sit with you again and share stories and lessons about life skills and personal growth so that together we can grow, and together we can live more fully. I want you to remember this. You don't need to be perfect to begin. You only need to begin with all the honesty and courage you already have. Thank you for spending your time with me today. I truly cherish it, and I hope that when you turn off this video, you don't just carry my words with you, but also carry the belief that you can still change. You can still live a life that is deep-wise, confident, and resilient in your own unique way. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, live fully in each moment. Love what you already have, and always believe that you deserve a life filled with meaning.